This is Logical Mgtow Spa. I just noticed a particular video by Mgtow brother, Coach Greg Adams, of course, but he titled his video in the sense that where women are saying, men aren't doing what we say, even if we shame them. The basic fact is, you women, and I know there's women out there that are watching, even if not the entire video of Logical Mgtow. Um, Although I will say one thing is that I've gotten a number of comments on my videos. Ones that, well, at least maybe one or two that were, shall we say, trying to shame the men, shameless men essentially, which basically their judgment and whatnot is going to be dealt with by Heavenly Father Himself. But of course, there was another one where she seemed to be preteen, teen, or it could have been a male too. But nonetheless, it was the fact that where the person's all saying things should not be the way they are when it comes to the males and females, and um, things should be equal. But the one thing is, things should be equal. Heavenly Father Himself wants things equal, but women don't know how to do things equal. Women only know how to do things that benefit them. And yet women have been doing most of what benefits them, even if it goes against the Bible, ever since the 1990s and late 80s, be that of 1989 through the 1990s. Yet they claim that they love a person, be that a male, and they basically go to the points of devoting themselves and their time to and with the men, right? But if the man is to work when the woman wants to be with them, and the woman knows that they cannot be with them while the man is working. Although if you're in an office, it would be seen as a distraction. If you're in retail, it's a complete distraction. If you're in a factory, a total distraction. With that, though, too, women have used the aspect of where you see on Cheetahs, for example, the program, although it seems more of a repeat than anything now, because there hasn't been any new exclusive ones anyway. But even on there, even on that program, and it comes on late, depending on where you're at. What time zone you're in, essentially, too. And I've said this before though too. Okay, where the woman would say, "Well, you're hardly ever around. You're always working, or you're always saying that you're working late for various reasons and all this other shit." That's no reason to cheat. That's no reason to go against the Bible. That's no reason to go against the relationship. But do women understand it? They may, but they don't follow it. As I've said, and I don't know if even many Mgtow brothers, even Coach Greg Adams realizes this, but and I'm not dissing Coach Greg Adams because he's cool. Anyway, um, and even Mr. Vicious hasn't noticed this. I don't think is that women are so compiled with negativity that surrounds them. They don't know. They don't take the time to decipher and solve things within themselves to make them better to where it doesn't where they're not carrying it around with them for many years even from this point, because the more you do that it builds up over time. Say for example if you were demeaned by your family members or friends or so-called friends, of course, be that of course classmates, um, or even friends outside of school in your youth, and and even when it comes to a girl in the sense of a teenage, preteen, what have you, they're wanting to be accepted, liked, besides respected and whatnot, right? So is the male of the genders, right? But they don't learn until much later that you will not automatically get respected, liked, or have any association of hanging out with a person or people in your class or school or even college for that matter, um, and or even junior high as well as high school, um, as well as elementary school. But and there has been many cases over the course of 20, 30 years, say about 5, 6 years separately of those 20, 30 years, just a rough estimation too, um, that that even teenagers and preteens have gone to the points of wanting to commit suicide. And they have also gone to that aspect of when it comes to wanting to be in a relationship with a particular opposite gender within their school, or shall we say adolescent siblings within the same school that they're going to, or even outside of the school, or it could be a neighborhood kid too. But the one thing is, there are those like myself, and it's not as rare as you think. There are those like myself that have dealt with a lot of things and been, shall we say, put down emotionally, psychologically, verbally, in the verbal aspect and sense, by your adolescent classmates, by those who are in your neighborhood. And I'm not saying it's me directly, I'm just giving an example. But the one thing is, people like myself who have dealt with that at various different points within our lives know that what people negatively say about you is not true, and you basically brush it off, ignore it. And yet, I know in preteen to teenage, it's not that easy. As many things are said, it's easier said than done. But the one particular thing, and that is, if you really consider yourself to be a very good person, and you would help a person out without expecting anything in return to start with. And if you are the type of person that would treat another person, be that male or female, if you're a woman, the male, if you're a man, the female, with the utmost respect and decency and also consideration, everything's all good, right? But of course, people are not like Deanna Troi from Star Trek: The Next Generation, to where they can read you and actually know that about you. It doesn't matter what age you are. They don't know what type of person you really are. That's the reason why they demean you. There has also been a number of times, even for me though, that a number of my family members would say things that are not positive and logical. You know, the way I work it is that if they want to say something that's negative and not true, and then turn around and right when I'm around them, they start acting nicey nicey. But yet behind my back, when I was growing up, according to what my mother's told me, is um, that they demeaned me in some way or another, even verbally. The one thing is that I have learned not to not to feed the fire, as it were. Be that, of course, not give them the satisfaction of showing that they are getting to me in some way. I've done this with when it comes to women too. So even if a woman were to shame me, you know, doesn't bother me one iota, because I know the type of person that I really am. You should know, and if you don't know, really take the time. And I'm not saying you don't at the same time, but if you feel that you don't know who you really are, and I'm not saying you aren't, that you don't already know. I'm just saying that there are those times that even if we do feel that we know who we are, there may be a certain there may be a certain, shall we say, percentage or variation that we may not know about ourselves, that we want to know more about ourselves, right? The only way we can know that is to take the time for ourselves and with ourselves. It doesn't have to be by what we like to do in the sense of hobbies. It doesn't have to be in the sense of anything, like even what we like to do when it comes to outings. because just like everything else and everybody else, essentially, we all like the same. We may not all like the same things that other people like at the same point too, right? But the one thing is, though, too, there are certain parts of each person, both male as well as female, that we have not really yet grasped, and we're able to, even in our youth, but we haven't at times, even more than at times, to know the type of person we really are and what, and also which would also tell us within ourselves of how much we will we will logically tolerate, even from people, even from people within our families, as well as not as those that are not in our family, those that we are are or have been in relationships with, and um, are not in relationships. There's been a buildup of various different things going on in the past 3 centuries. In the 1980s, in the 1970s, 1960s, it was the man sleeping around. But if the man's sleeping around, so is a certain percentage of the female gender, aren't they? Regardless if they're in relationships with other men, or men if you're a woman, or woman if you're a man. If you were already in a relationship with a woman, if you're a man, in the 60s, 70s, there are a number of people even in the female gender that have slept around, even if the two genders were already in relationships with the opposite. But there's one particular thing too. With that knowledge, though, it, it's mostly been voiced by women, in where the woman thinks that the man is sleeping around or the man's cheating on her, right? This has been happening since the 1960s and 70s and 80s. And a percentage of it, and there's been a percentage of times where it's an actuality, even though the man says, "No, honey, I'm not." But then it changed from the point when there was like a major cutoff of that, where women started doing that. And then they started saying, "No, honey, I love you. I want you. You're the only one for me. I would never do anything to hurt you." And then right before, and even before you even go with the person, "I would never do that to you." And then months to maybe weeks later, you find out she would do exactly what she said she wouldn't do to you men. It's as if the female gender is trying to do a metaphysical, philosophical payback to the male gender for what the male gender did in the 1960s, 70s, and 1980s till 89. As if that's to solve anything. Things in the sense of payback, of any form of payback, even if it means one's life is going to be hospitalized to the points to where the one life is lost. Even if the person is able to get to the hospital in time by an ambulance. Or even if it means the person's about to be getting his ass kicked by another male to the point where he still needs hospitalization. And at times, even the life altering aspects still happens even then too. At times, but then with that though, there are times with that in those same scenarios where the woman also gets affected to where she's hospitalized, and maybe a higher percentage of the time that the woman's life is gone. Not all the time, granted. There are also women who just sit there and let it happen as the guy gets his butt kicked. But also, there's also been times where, say, you get your butt kicked, and then say several years later, that same woman wants to reconnect with you, and somehow or another, you or her kind of reunite and reconnect and to reunite, recollaborate. There's other aspects and sayings to that, but there's only a very small percentage, if unheard of those type of women that would do you wrong. Years later, they don't, right? But yet there are those same percentage of women that would do you wrong when you're in your youth, right? And then years later, when you're in your adult aspects and you've lived your life without being betrayed and all that, right? Suddenly you reconnect with them with that same woman again, and then she fucking gets reacquainted with you. Then she says, "Oh, I haven't cheated on anybody, but I was cheated on." Gee, the karma can be a major bitch, huh? The basic fact is that if you've been wronged or cheated on by a female, she could be cheated on by the male or males, or however many times, however long she's been with other males outside of you. But yet she's this by the time she reunites with you, the male, she wants to be remarried or married if she hasn't already married one time before she reunited with you. And this one again would be the same woman that did you wrong in your youth. And it would be the same woman that would not always and openly admit that she was done wrong in the years after you had no communication with her, right? And even in your youth. right? The basic fact is that karma can bite you in the ass, ladies. You do us men wrong, we know that you will be done wrong, even if you don't think it will happen to you. Like many teenagers think that they are invincible, indestructible. That even if they get into an accident like a car accident, they'll be able to come out of it. Or even if they did, say, fall off a cliff, they'd be able to come out of that. We're not in a cartoon, man. We're not gonna be able to be peel ourselves off the ground after hitting the ground, or even we're not gonna be able to straighten ourselves up after being in a car accident. So the indestructible aspects of the mindset of teenagers, both male and female, not logical and not reality, and not very smart either. Now women are wondering why we are, like I said earlier, why men aren't doing what the woman expects of us men, even if the woman were to continuously shame us men. As if it's a sort of a thing where women think that we are so weak-minded, so emotionally weak, in that we'll believe anything that's negatively said about us. But yet, as if the woman is stronger than they really are, even emotionally. Even if things were to be said that was negative about them, oh yeah, they'd be able to deflect that. That's a load of shit. The basic fact is that we're all good men. It's going to be continuously thought and said by every fucking female. It is said also by a particular person that I read in um, one of my video on the comment section anyway. That he said marriage is like going to a casino, or maybe not really in those words, but it's like if you're at a casino. And I said yeah, that's an interesting and true aspect and concept of marriage. But and I even commented and said yeah but more often than not that guy loses more than he wins. Life is a game of chance, yes. Many situations are in the game of chance as well. Marriage even for maybe certain numbers of women are in the game of chance. But with the no fault divorce situation, it's not so much of a chance for women, or at least that's the conceptual thought of women. With the fact that they have the no fault divorce thing to at their favor, they go to the point of thinking, well, even though I'm in a relationship, I could still sleep around. No. If you're in a relationship and you really, really love and care for and about the person, you really want to be with the person, even in a marriage, you don't sleep around. Even if things don't go the way the woman wants it, even in a relationship, just like what we men do, we roll with the punches, as it were. We've done that more than women have, way more than women have, as if it's expected of us, man. And at times, many men believe it is expected of us. Even with the fact that we're supposed to make the woman happy, but the woman is expected to make us happy, but they don't have they don't have to go to the full extent as much as men are generally expected to when it comes to making the woman happy. That doesn't make anything equal at all. In many ways, it doesn't make things even fairer either, now does it? But all the women have started to only care about it as long as they get what they want, when they want it, however it plays out, it's okay as long as they get what they want. But they don't really pay attention to the aspect of fairness when it comes to if they want to get what they want, then we need to get what we want. We men need to get what we want. We more than deserve that. But women have used the aspect and conceptualization to where we have to work harder than they do. We physically and emotionally have to work harder at it of getting what we want than the woman does. There's no equal in that either. There's no equality in that either. There's no fairness in that either. And the other aspect of it is too is that if women can get the no fault divorce proceedings in court cases, divorce court cases, we should be able to get the same shit. But of course, knowing feminism, they would try to fight against that, wouldn't they? And still consider it fair. Women do not know the concept of fairness. They don't know the concept and actual definition of fairness if that was to be done. What would be fair, logically, if they didn't want us to have the no fault divorce as well as they do have the no fault divorce, then they need to compile the information and get rid of the no fault divorce that benefits them, or we men will eventually get the no fault divorce that benefits us. And there's ways that the feminist movement would not be able to fight against. And even if they attempted to, they'd lose. Same thing with the Mgtow movement aspect. They would lose on that one as well. Women feel that they've been shamed for a number of centuries, right? So why not shame us men? women already have attempted to try to shame us when it comes to the size of a particular organ we have in between our legs. It helps propagate the species, both male and female. Be that it extends the aspect of humanity, the longevity of humanity, that is. But at the same time, now too, is that the women have a constitutional right to say, yes, I'm going to have the child or children, or no. But with that, little do even young women know this, is that once there's always going to be a limit, and it's an equal limit for every woman practically. The more you abort, say for example, if the woman aborts maybe two children in 2 to 3 separate years, right? But then somewhere in between, she has at least maybe one or two, right? Somewhere in between the spatial aspect of years, right? Or say, for example, she decides she's not, she thinks that she's ready. She goes with the process of conception, right? Then when she gets to the points to where she finds out she's pregnant, well, she's not. She feels that she's not ready. She aborts it, right? Then she waits a number of years later after. Then she tries it again. She feels that she's ready to have a child. She goes through the same thing again. But this time she finds out she has two heartbeats in her. She's about to have two heartbeats in her versus the one. Or she could have had two heartbeats in the beginning, the first conceptualization, right? But before they go to full term, she aborted them, right? Or aborted the one, either or. Then, like I said, she'll wait a number of years. Then she says she feels that she's ready again. Then she goes through the same conception aspect, process. Then she gets a sign even from the EPT test that she's about to be expecting again, but she still has enough time to abort if she wants to, right? Say for example she does abort the second time, and it doesn't matter how far a span of years or months it's been. Then she does it again. The same repeated, yes, I'm ready. Let's go for it. Type of thing. Then she goes into the finding out that she is pregnant. But she only has a shorter time this time to either have the child or which basically continue the pregnancy or abort the child. But then say for example if she aborts the child on that one too, right? The whole thing is there will come a point to where, and even it usually happens after the third or even second abortion of the child that's about to grow in the woman. It doesn't, and I can tell you, it doesn't happen. The same thing, the same process doesn't happen with every woman. But the one thing is that there's a percentage of women that will, and I'm not going to say that a percentage, But there are a percentage of women that will be able to go to the point of pregnancy only twice for various reasons. But then they'd have to have their tubes tied to where they wouldn't be their physician says, well, your body won't be able to handle the third time. There are women that there are a percentage of women that will go in the sense of going through the third abortion, and then the physician says, well, your body won't be able to handle a fourth. But then years later, they don't remember it all the time, do they? They go towards the attempting of it, and then they find out that they are not able to have children. They go to their physician to find out if they are going to be, yeah, and going to the aspect of pregnancy, and they get majorly emotionally, psychologically depressing news, and that is usually a no go on the pregnancy. But there are there is an aspect where the woman would easily have, say, the first abortion, then have, and somewhere months or years later, have 2 to 3 children, or at least one. Then go over to the points of wanting another one or another two, however. But then she goes to the points where she's not fully emotionally ready. Therefore, she aborts it. What's the next step? Does she go for the fifth time around when she's fully emotionally, psychologically ready, or what, or how she may feel at that point in time, which would be months, if not 2, 3 years from now, for example. Even after the physician says that your body will not be able to handle. There are women out there that will still go in for it anyway. And I'm not saying there are women that will do this. I'm not saying the percentage of how many women would do this, but there are women that will do that without even thinking. Along with that, though, too, there's a percentage of where you are able to have a chance, even with your tubes tied, ladies. And speaking of the aspect of the tubal ligation thing, is where if you're married, men, you will be expected to get your tubes tied because it's easier for us men than it is for the woman. The woman has to go through steps before she gets her tubes tied. And all for us men, all we have to do is get shaved down there. Then they make an incision, but we can get it reversed a lot easier and a lot more simpler than it is for women. But also at the same time, even in the medical field, it's not well recommended to get it reversed. You can, but it's not recommended to. It's not a positive recommendation. for various different reasons. There's many reasons. It's not really said why unless you're in that situation. There might be a percentage of, shall we say, harm to you if you were to get reversed, to where the chance of it could be more than negatively detriment to you and against you, who's to say. That's why women will always expect us men to get the tube tie thing. They will not want to always go in themselves. The one thing is, though, too, is that when women go into that aspect, they'll eventually drop you or divorce you, and then go in for another one, another guy, right? And then there might be a time to where she does actually go through the process, and then the guy will wonder, well, I wanted to know why you did it for him, but you wouldn't do it for me. And then there's a base of, like, shall we say, an instance of emotional psychological favoritism between the two guys. And yet there's also an emotional psychological thing when it comes to the woman in general. It doesn't always play out the same down the same path. Yet also the one thing is that when the man finds this out, then he goes back over and gets it reversed, right? Not 100% effect, not 100% recommended. So therefore, in it would be logical and sensible that you men don't do that. Do not get your tubes tied, because one, it could be a negative effect for you internally as well as externally. The one thing is you might want to check with your physician on that, and also the chances, both positive and negative. So basically, the tube type thing, right, even as it stands right now, not very, shall we say, recommended. And I know many men say, no, 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 I'm not going to get my tubes tied. If you want to get tubes tied, then you do it, bitch. Essentially. uh, if a woman wanted me to, I'm like, nope. I'd be like, honey, I do love you and all this, but I'm not going to do that. And I'll say there's a chance, there's not a high positive probability of a chance of, even if I were to get it reversed. I would tell her that straight up, and I'm not gonna. And I told her I don't take chances on that, on anything, and I don't. And I go, honey, I'd be like, honey, you know I don't take no chances on many different things for many different positive and logical reasons. That doesn't show that shows no less or lack of love and respect for the woman, but I know they'll try to come up with some bullshit excuse. But all in all, the woman trying to shame us, the women trying to shame us men, and expecting to do and fall into place, as it were. There's many things that we do and we have done. We men have done. We've shamed women left and right, and we know this. They've shamed us in many ways too. But the base of shaming us men is not going to pull us in towards the woman. Even if they say, "I'm only shaming a percentage of the men, not you, honey." Once you shame a man, you're shaming the whole fucking gender. And women have also said men are pigs, and then they turn around and say, "No, not you're not a pig, honey." Once you say men, plural, N-E, not man, M-A-N, that man's a pig. Even if you were to use the secular of the aspect of a man being a pig, you're shaming the whole entire gender. And the same thing for us men. If we shame a woman, we're shaming the whole entire gender. But in the aspect of the way the women have shamed us, even beyond the genitalia thing and whatnot else, right? It's not going to work to where women get what they want, what they expect, what they feel that they're entitled to. Because I've mentioned that entitlement is not in the fucking picture. As much as the feminist females think that they are still gonna be entitled, and with the fact that their time, the woman's time with the man is money, where we men have to spend money in order to spend time with, in order to be around them and spend time with them. But they don't have to do that with us, right? There's no fairness, no equality in that either. So basically, you women trying to shame us as if we're gonna be, as if you think we're gonna be just uh, putting our tail between our legs and walk over to you and do whatever the fuck you ask of us and tell us to do, even after shaming us. That's not gonna work. Even if there wasn't a Mgtow, it's not gonna work. Not one woman has tried that concept on me. Many women have even tried to shame us by saying that Mgtow is a gay thing. It's not. It's not. The LBGT is. Many women have even tried to shame us by saying that we're not really men by being Mgtow. By not doing what the woman wants and expects. Not giving the woman what they feel that they're entitled to. Many women have even gone to the points of saying saying that we're little fucking children, whiny crybabies. I've heard that more often than not, even on comment. I've heard that, seriously. It's the, shall we say, old haggish way, even from young women, by trying to shame us, men, for not complying to the woman's wants, needs, and entitlements and expectations of us men. But yet, when we have expected things of them and from them, we've had to work for it, right? They would even deflect what we want from them, but what we can't. But in accordance to the woman's mindset, we cannot. We're not allowed to deflect what they want, what they expect, what they feel that they are entitled to when it pertains to us men. By us walking away is a shameful thing. Is a bad thing for us to do, but it's okay for them to walk away from us, right? No. Women need to realize you shame us, you try to demean us, men, you expect the unrealistic, even financially unrealistic, and you think you're still entitled. The only entitlement that there is for both males as well as females is spiritual entitlement. But Heavenly Father Himself and our Savior Himself knows how to weigh that out. We men are weighing it out in our own way. Just like women have weighed it out in their way. But now women want it to be to where we are not allowed to do what we've been doing in the sense of walking away from the woman. Going essentially men going their own way. Women can go their own way, right? But we're not allowed to go our own way. It's a double standard. Many people, even men, would call that a double standard, an illogical one at that. The feminists and Me Tooers of the fucking females and the fucking male feminists who really want who are really are expecting the woman to give it to them in why they're really supporting the male feminists, and why the male feminists are really supporting the female feminists so they can get what they want from the woman sexually. Women see this. The men don't expect the fucking feminist and Me Too men followers don't see that. They're wise to your bullshit, you feminist men, you male feminist idiots. But if you want to keep on showing that you're not too important to yourself, male feminists, you don't consider yourself very strongly, obviously, without the woman, obviously, do you? You think you think you're nothing without the woman, do you? Male feminist. If you keep on living that way in your life, you are going to go into the points of deep depression. And the women will not give a damn. Male feminists. You think they will give a damn? You're not really thinking very clearly, male feminists. What I say and what I have said is 100% fact and truth and logic. So, male feminists, you need to step back away from the support of feminism and the Me Tooers and really think, am I really considering myself by supporting the feminists and Me Tooers? Am I really showing myself that I am, that I know that I am important, that I feel that I am important, that I am strong as a male from within? Or am I just trying to tell myself that I am when I'm really not? You male feminists need to go through that and more. You will find by simping to the general support of the feminists and the Me Tooers, you're not really considering yourself. You're not really taking any stock, positive stock, for and within yourself. It's okay to have support for people. Doesn't matter if they're male or female. But you need also to have emotional, psychological support for you, first off. Or else you'll be just kidding yourself. You'll be beyond kidding yourself, actually. Many of the blue-pilled simps think that they are nothing without the woman. McHenry Cruiser himself even possibly thinks this as well. He'll deny it, granted, I know. But you can't really deny something that you know to be true within yourself, even if you don't want to outwardly admit it. But somewhere, something inside you will tell you it's true. Therefore, you need to step back and really take stock and thought within yourself and for yourself and re-examine it. You can, and you don't have to be, and you don't have to be Einstein, because things will take time to even compile and decipher for you and within you. This goes for the blue-pilled simps as well as the male feminists. And the purple-pilled simps. Of course, the purple-pilled are usually the ones that are in serious relationships as well as married or engaged. I'm not saying marriage is a bad thing, but marriage has been completely fucking screwed with into where it only benefits one. Heavenly Father and our Savior themselves made it to where marriage was supposed to benefit two people, not just the one. Feminism and the Me Too bitches have made it to where marriage only benefits the one. And they consider that fair and equality, and they're entitled to have it that way, right? No. You don't fuck with something that's spiritually connected. You fuck with something that's spiritually connected, ladies and feminist little bitches and Me Too little bitches. You fucking sin. And you will never see the gates of heaven. You will never see yourself side by side with Heavenly Father and our Savior, but they will still love you. But you will never see the gates of heaven if you continuously go towards the aspect of believing that marriage only benefits the fucking female, but not the male, when it's supposed to be benefiting both. Then something is definitely psychologically and emotionally wrong with you, feminist and Me Too bitches. You wanna try to deflect it as if something's wrong with us men? No, 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 no. We would not do the fucking thing of where the no fault divorce, where it benefits the woman, where she can fucking just act like she's still single even though she's not, and sleep around. That goes against the Bible. And I know many feminists are also spiritual. There's also a feminist preacher or priest. There's also feminist lawyers using the feminist aspect and ideology in the court cases. They can lose their fucking positions and respect in the clergies, and also they can lose their bar in the lawyer law practice. It could also happen to feminist judges too. And then if they're questioned, they'd bullshit their way through it when they know what they're bullshitting about is not true. So basically, you feminist bitches, you feminist little fucking bitches, skanks, you fucking Me Too bitches and skanks, you have no foot to stand on. You cannot shame us and think that we're gonna kneel to you. No, there's no fucking way. Whenever we shamed you, women, you deflected it and didn't, and a number of you didn't kneel towards us. Now, did you? But yet you expect us to kneel and go over to you after you try to shame us. And on top of that, you think that it's called equality and fairness by having the no fault divorce that benefits women, but basically would make things way worse than better, way more than worse essentially than any percentage than it does better. The better percentage would be very low to practically non-existent. And you call that equality? No. You call that fairness? The no fault divorce is nowhere near equality, and it's not anywhere near fairness. Yes, life isn't fair, but yet you women have gone to the points to where it's fair for you, but it shouldn't. But it's not going to be fair for men, right? The basic fact is that we're not easily manipulated as it once as we once were in our youth. So you women have lost big time. And you women will continuously say, "Where are all the good men?" to start with. And you'll keep on bitching and moaning because we don't do what you women expect. The more we have expected things in our youth, many things didn't happen now, did they? We expected to get various presents during Christmas and our birthdays. We didn't get them all the time now, did we? We expected things to happen for us that are positive even in the base of employments. They didn't always play out that way, did it? And I'm talking both males for males as well as females. So the base of expectation is null and void, even when it comes to the expectation of us men for you women. And also that also goes to the point where you can't expect men to spend money on you just in order to be spending time with you. Time is not money when it comes to basic the general and basic human interaction and connections. Time is money when it comes to maybe employment and survival, but not when it comes to human interactions and connections. And as well as it doesn't connect with even emotional and spiritual connection either between the two genders. As much as you women think and expect it to, but yet we men can easily have it to where the time that you spend with us men, we will and we can expect money from you in the sense of you spending money on us. We can reverse it, but we men know that you won't go for it. You will not play into that. But yet you women expect us to continuously play into spending. In order to spend time with you women, we have to spend money on you more than on ourselves. No more. No more. Mm-mm. Plus, your entitlement aspect, the entitlement for women is non-existent, null and void as well. No action to that. There's no equality the way women have worked it because women don't know how to work the aspect and the generalization of equality logically as much as they think they can and think that they are. The only aspect of equality for women is as long as they get what they want, that's all they care about. And as long as the woman gets what they expect from us men, that's equality right there. And the aspect of if the woman decides to screw us over, even in divorce court, that's equality for them as well. There's no that none of those things are actual logic at logical levels and percentages of equality. Which basically means the base of equality is not in the picture. Just like the base of entitlement for women is not in the picture when it comes to male and female situations and connections and interactions and such. So basically, you women have you have no place, no foot and leg to stand on. metaphorically. You have, as I said before, you women have screwed yourselves. You've also screwed yourselves by building up emotional, psychological things within yourself that you have even had within you even before connecting emotionally, psychologically connecting, even in the dating world with us men. Therefore, you build up that, and then therefore the blame goes directly towards us, and and you feel vindicated when really the problems that you have had in you before you met us and had any connection or verbal association with us men has nothing to do with us, but yet you try to make it as if it does. When really it's not really the issue that you have within you, is it? It's something completely separate from the relationship situation, but you want to put it as if it was. And what negative feelings you have even before you even met us men is our problem, is our fault as well, right? No, it doesn't play out that way, and it will never play out that way. You women have built up the aspect of drama. You women have built up the negative bullshit within yourself. That whole thing lays on you, being your issue, your situations, your fault, not ours, not the males. If you cannot take the time for yourself, ladies, to solve the things that are within you that you've carried along with you from your teenage, especially, as well as in your 20s and 30s and 40s, then you don't deserve to be in a relationship, because eventually you're going to put that you're going to compile that along with what's going on in the relationship and blame us men anyway, and then you'll be feeling vindicated. You feel vindicated when it comes to the no fault divorce thing, and to where we men end up having to pay practically an arm and a leg, metaphorically again, when it comes to the alimony and child support. The child support part is that we're okay with, but the one thing we can make it to where the child support is paid by us spending time with our children that you don't want us to do. A good percentage of you women wouldn't want us to do for various illogical reasons at times, if not more so than at times. Because we know, and it's been proven, that you women have spent a larger percentage of the child support on you women when it comes to pampering yourself, and then the small, if at all percent of the percentage would go to the what the child or children would need or want, even for their survival and for, say, school and clothing, what have you else, right? So basically, you women have screwed yourself. And also, with that, feminism and the Me Too movements have lied to you. They have brainwashed you women. So with that, you're going to be in the aspect of depression and anxiety, and wondering why you're not married, wondering why we men are not going to just fall into place in the way you expect us to. Because we men know that you won't fall into place the way we would want you to. So it's basically Dutch store action on that one now, isn't it? Something to think about, ladies, isn't it? Of all of the things that I've said, especially when it comes to the concept of marriage and aspect of marriage. till such time, and I know I've said this, till such time that the marriage comes and the aspect is not turned into is not turned into a business anymore, for where benefits the woman when it's supposed to benefit both the male as well as the female. Then I know I've said that there could be a possibility, but you women have dug yourselves even deeper, even in the shaming aspect and conceptualization of the shaming is is also where women are digging themselves deeper. It is not doing anything beneficial for you women at all, now is it? Neither is the so-called entitlement situation. Neither is the high expectation of things, especially when it comes to financial based as well. So you women, you feminists and me too little bitches, have screwed yourself. Now, with that all said, you women need to think about what I said. And you feminist fucking men need to think about, are you being true to yourself? Are you really considering yourself and your well-being and your self-worth, even as you support and back the feminists, like even against Mgtow, even against men in general? Or are you more than kidding yourself to the point where it can lead to major levels of depression? Because once it hits that within you, feminists following dumbass men, and Me Too following dumbass men, you will want to end your life. I know that for a fact. It will go that deep. We Mgtow can help you, men. I can help you because I know the male and female psyche, and I know psychology, and I know the true aspect and base of logic. Now, Mgtow brothers, I don't know if you'll agree with me or not. If you do, cool. If you don't, you can comment below, or even say on my Facebook page of Logical Mgtow and Logical Mgtow Spock Facebook pages, and tell me what part am I missing, if I'm missing anything, which I don't, and I don't believe that I am missing anything. But many people may have a deeper aspect of things more than I even voiced out, and I may have a deeper aspect of things than what other Mgtow members have voiced out. It happens. I know that. But all in all, you women and the feminists following and Me Too following men need to think about what I said. Really take time for yourself and within yourself, with no distractions, even of your day-to-day lives. Do what you need to do first off, even when it comes to your survival. Then, when you're able to spend time for yourself and within yourself, think about it. You'll see something that you may not have seen even before, and you may even be surprised or even amazed within yourself as well. And you may want to reach in to where you can feel better about yourself and within yourself. But of course, even that will take some time. Even more than some time. Trust me on that. This is Logical Mgtow Spock. Stay strong. Stay self-assured, self-confident. Stay single. Stay Mgtow. Mgtow for life. Stay safe. Have a good day.